Lesson 2. 7 Tips for your knife safety. Knives are essential tools to have on hand in any kitchen as well as on any outdoor trip, whether camping, bush crafting, or just to keep one handy. Whether you use a chef knife, bread knife, survival knife, or pocket knife, all knives have one thing in common: they are dangerous. Regardless of what type of knife you use, it's important to follow a few safety precautions that can reduce your risk of injury while traveling or any other time. To help you learn some basic knife safety rules, we've listed some handy tips and tricks that will help you reduce the risk of injury when using a knife. 1. Always use a sharp knife. This is the one basic knife safety rule to keep in mind. Although a sharp knife is dangerous, a dull knife can be just as dangerous, if not more so. Because dull knives don't cut as easily, a person would likely use more force to cut. A blade slip can result in a devastating loss of control of the knife. If you cut yourself with a sharp knife, it will still be painful, but the knife will produce a clean that is easier to work with and sew up if necessary. 2. Keep your knife in its sheath. The blade of a knife should always be protected and sheathed to prevent careless accidents. Avoid sitting or standing on an uncovered blade. While most people take care to carry their knife in a sheath, they often forget to put it back in their sheath when they take it out for use. If the knife is mislaid without a sheath, an accident could happen. Be careful not to walk around freely with your knife, especially in a crowded kitchen or outdoors where you could easily trip over a branch or on uneven terrain. A fall with an unsheathed knife can expose you to fatal injury. Avoid unpleasant accidents and remember to put your knife back in its sheath after use, even if you will be using it again soon. When it comes to handling knives, it is always better to be safe than sorry. 3. The circle of blood and the triangle of death. When using a knife, you need to make sure that nobody is within reach. The circle you can make by reaching from your chest is called a blood circle. If a person is in this circle, do not use the knife until they have walked away and out of range of the circle to ensure their safety. However, it's not just the safety of others that you have to worry about. To stay safe when carving or cutting, you should avoid cutting between what is known as the triangle of death. The area from the groin to the knees forms what is called this triangle, which is dangerous because your femoral arteries are on your legs. If you cut here, you could bleed to death in minutes. 4. Hold the knife correctly. To avoid slipping, grip the knife in your fist much like you would hold a hammer or an axe. Make sure your thumb or fingers are clear of the blade area and stay within the handle settings. Avoid using your knife when you are tired, lest you lose your grip easily. Fiddling with a knife while not in your full headspace can result in awkward mistakes and you could easily lose your grip on the knife. 5. Have a first aid kit ready. Any kitchen should already have a first aid kit as a basic requirement. But a ready-to-use first aid kit isn't the only thing you need. Learn how to treat minor injuries in an emergency, and check your first aid kit from time to time to see if you need to replace anything in your kit for future use. In professional kitchens, bright blue band-aids and gloves are used to ensure that they can be seen should they leave the body and never be given to a customer. 6. Cut away from your body. When cutting any food, it is imperative that as the knife moves, it does so away from the body in a controlled manner. Due to the shape of the blade, it should not require force to accurately cut. Ensure that you are using a properly secured cutting board with the food firmly held to the board. Only lift the heel of the blade as high as necessary, usually no more than 0.5 of an inch if done properly, and the tip of the knife should remain touching the board most of the time. The hand holding the food should be firmly away from the path of the blade by rolling your knuckles over your fingertips, which should now be approximately under your second knuckle. The second knuckle should be the closest to the blade, which will create a wall the spine of the knife hits. This technique, when properly executed, should ensure all fingers are out of the path of the blade. 7. Take care of your knife. Several steps can be taken to keep a knife in good condition. The first is to always dry your knife after washing it or exposing it to liquids. Although some blade materials are more liquid resistant, none of them are completely immune to rust. If you cut yourself with a rusty knife, you're exposing yourself to tetanus, so always keep your knife dry. Although you have heard before that a dull knife is a dangerous knife, we can also tell you that a dirty knife is more dangerous knife.